Hey, this is Dan and Michelle from Honeymoon Always. If you've been watching, you know that we moved to Portugal, and a couple videos ago, we talked about our cost of living here. And that, of course, created a lot of questions of like, okay, but how do you sustain yourself? And even when I left my job a couple of years ago, I know family and friends, when I would say I make money off my travel website, they would just kind of like look at me and be like, yeah, but how does that work? So today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how we became digital nomads, which, you know, we don't really care for that term only because we don't feel nomadic.
Yeah, we're pretty settled in Portugal,
Yeah.
but we don't live in our country of origin. So
Yeah.
there's that.
So people refer to us as digital nomads. So we want to explain how we got here, how we make money today, and then also give some tips for you if you're interested in doing this and living this lifestyle we live.
Please subscribe to our channel. We are hoping to get to 5,000 subscribers, so please help us get there, and follow along with us on Instagram at Honeymoon Always.
All right, so first, how did we get here? I started doing SEO when I was in college. I was actually going to school for international studies, and I learned about this thing called SEO. I got an internship and then started working for digital marketing agencies, and then eventually worked for some larger brands doing SEO. And along the way, I wanted to do something for myself so I could use my skills for my own benefit other than just working towards a company. And I started honeymoonalways.com about 5 or 6 years ago. And I kind of did it off and on, and it was fun at first because like even though we weren't making any money, I was getting like free stuff as we traveled, so that was a lot of fun. But eventually it did start making a little bit of money. And fast forward to October of 2019, the company I worked for was sold and I was out of a job. So we decided that I would work on Honeymoon Always full time and for a little bit and see if we could increase the earnings for it to make it worth it for me not to look for a new job.
And at that time, I was happy to hold down the fort. I had a career at this point in digital marketing as well, but a different branch. So I actually went to school for sociocultural anthropology and vocal performance, not digital at all. I grew into a career in digital, focusing on digital production and product management. So I was working with a lot of brands doing social media activations, and eventually went in-house for a large brand to work on their website. So managing global navigation and buttons and making sure that consumers could get where they want to go, and that was optimized. So at this point, Dan wanted to go full-time, and while I was not super happy in my job, I was really excited to be the stability while he figured that out, because hopefully in maybe 3 to 5 years, I'd be able to join on the company as well, and I'd be able to get kind of out of that corporate environment. So he was doing Honeymoon Always through the pandemic, which definitely had its ups and downs.
Yeah, it was like some months I didn't make any money, and in fact had to work really hard to like fix people's travel plans, and so that was like depressing, and I was like, uh-oh, I might need to go get a real job. But then some things worked out and we had some great months, and then eventually it kind of stabilized, and it's fairly stable now and growing a little bit at a time.
Yeah, so the pandemic, of course, I was working from home for what I considered to be a very stable job. I was working in tech for a grocery store, and while many people across the globe were losing their jobs during the pandemic, I assumed that working in tech for a grocery store would be very stable, since grocery stores were obviously doing very well during the pandemic. Unfortunately, things change, and it's never in your hands when you're, employed by somebody else. So they ended up laying off our entire department. And that was earlier this year in 2021. And I had a couple months to just sit and think and figure things out. Now, at this point, we were already starting to think about moving to Portugal, but this really lit the fire under our butts that we could afford to work together on the website and spend some time figuring that out if we move to Portugal, right? There's a lot of financial reasons for that. We didn't have to worry about healthcare, and it just felt like a safer bet for us to be here doing that as compared to being in the United States trying to figure that out. And with the added bonus that I wouldn't have to go back to a corporate job that I wasn't happy in. So
we made that move.
Yeah.
So here we are, and we're still plugging away with our online business, trying to make it more sustainable and diversify. But now we're going to go over how we actually make money with an online travel website.
Yeah.
So the first way that we make money is through advertisements on our website. So we are part of an ad network called Mediavine, so they take care of all of that. But if you go on our website, honeymoonalways.com, you're going to see ads, and that is what pays us. So if you ever go to a cooking blog and you see all the ads you have to scroll through in order to get to the recipe, that's the same thing. We're all trying to get people to look at our ads so we can get paid for the content we create.
A core reason that's a large chunk of our revenue is because of Dan's skills in search engine optimization. He knows how to get people to our website when you Google a term. And because of that, it's the eyeballs on our website that get us revenue on these ads.
The next thing we have is affiliate marketing. And basically, this is when I recommend a product or a service, and either I'll have a link with the tracking code or I'll give you a discount code. And if you use those and make a purchase within a certain amount of time, then I get a small kickback in the form of an affiliate earnings. And this is usually a very small percentage, and it doesn't cost the purchaser anything extra. It just gives me a little cut. So some of our affiliates now include VRBO, Amazon, we have World Nomads, which does travel insurance, which is important for the D7 visa, and a couple other companies that we work with.
So a new form of revenue for us is YouTube. Now, when we started doing YouTube regularly, it was because we were moving to Portugal. We used it as a way to share the news with most of our family and friends because we hadn't told a lot of people. It was a pretty fast decision that we made. But we've really found a great community here, and it's been really beneficial for a lot of reasons that are not financial. However, we are excited that it is providing some income for us. Obviously, a small percentage. It's the smallest percentage of items you'll see in this chart here. You know, everyone told us when we were getting into YouTube, like, don't start YouTube for the money, which is 100% true. It is a slow grind, but luckily we are finding a lot of benefits from it outside of the financials. So it's been really great, and we're really loving that.
Beyond the amount of money that we're making, we love that people answer our questions when we throw them out there, and we love it when we hear that we've helped someone as well.
Yeah. Additionally, you may not know that I am the one who does the majority of the posting on YouTube and Instagram. And now that I get to dedicate my time on this full time, I'm learning a lot. There's a lot of skills that I'm really excited to be learning that I've always wanted to put my time into, but I was always putting my energy into the day job that I had. So this has been amazing for me. I'm really loving it.
The next way we make money is with a partnership with a travel agency. So when I went full time with Honeymoon Always, I wanted to try being a travel agent. And I gave that a try, and it was going well
For a minute
until COVID happened, which was like super fast after I started. And COVID was very hard for any travel agent because you weren't getting paid for the work you were doing, which was canceling people's reservations, trying to get them refunds. It was hard. And at that point, I was like, I don't want to do this. But I had this travel agency that I partnered with, and they are much more well-versed in all the different intricacies of canceling things for COVID, and they've been doing it for a lot longer than me. So instead of me being a travel agent, they now get my leads, which is great because they're a larger group of people and they all have their specialties. So for example, Walt Disney World Honeymoons is very popular. So we have one person who takes care of all of those people that need help planning their trip to Disney. And we have like a specialist for Bali, for Hawaii, and for all the like really popular honeymoon destinations. So if you book a trip through that travel agency per our recommendation, then they give us a small percentage of that commission when the person actually takes their trip. And the last way we're making money right now is not actually related completely to honeymoonalways.com, but that is contract work. And this is another big reason why we were willing to leave our jobs behind and move here to Portugal, is because we can do contract work based on the skills that we have. And that's always our backup plan. But also, I ran across a company that reached out to me and it was a really good fit, and I'm excited about what they're doing. So I'm providing SEO and marketing consulting for a travel brand that's a travel startup out of New York. So Michelle could do the same thing if we needed to, or if she wanted to do outside work outside of our business, but it definitely feels like a good safety net, even beyond like our savings. And if we need to, we can always get work because we've worked in digital and have worked remotely. And now that is becoming more and more popular and accepted for you to work remotely and as a contractor.
Hi guys, so as you will see, we have changed clothing because we actually filmed this part earlier. It just didn't turn out the way that we wanted, and we really wanted to make sure that we were providing valuable information. So we're filming it again. But basically, people reach out to us sometimes and say, hey, I really want to move abroad, but I'm just not sure how the finances would work. Or like, gosh, I love the idea of moving abroad, but I could never start my own website, or I could never have my own business to go and do that. They feel very tethered to corporate America in the way that we were. And what we want to share is that you can actually do this. And there are safe ways to do this. You don't have to spend 5 or 6 years building a company to the point where we feel comfortable moving to Portugal. There are remote positions that you can have right now to either supplement your income or completely build your income so that you can basically live and work from wherever you want to. So we have a couple of ideas for how you guys can do that, and hopefully these will be helpful. So here we go. So the first idea is to just ask your employer if you can work remotely. I know in previous jobs that I've had, after people have been there for a few years and they'd earned trust, they were able to move remotely. But there's also, sometimes international branches. And so maybe you can transfer to a UK or an EU location that's closer in the time zone to where you want to be working.
The second way is, if that doesn't work out, is to find a new job that will let you work remotely. Keep in mind that some jobs say they're fully remote, but they want you to live within a geographical location. So you want to do that investigation as you're looking for this new job.
Yeah, a lot of times I would be interviewing for jobs that were fully remote, but that meant you had to live within like the continental United States. So me moving to Europe at that point wouldn't have been appropriate. But there were other jobs that I worked with, they were even based in California, and they were okay with me moving to Europe because they had plenty of other people who were also living in Europe and working in Europe. So if you're upfront about what you're looking for, there are opportunities for you if that's what you want to do. So look for those types of jobs. The resources I would use are LinkedIn and Facebook groups. There's a lot of Facebook groups about digital and remote work. Okay, the next kind of slightly bigger leap would be to take on some contract work. Now, this doesn't have to be a full-on scary leap at first. You can do just a little bit of contract work on the side of your everyday day job as you ramp up and figure out how that feels for you, because there are some consequences to doing contract work. There are maybe some financial things to figure out and some health insurance things to figure out if you're not in a country that has awesome healthcare. So that's something that I would dip my toe into and kind of figure out how I want to do that. It may require you to get a little bit better about marketing your skills, but also there are plenty of companies that have traditional hiring routes that are just looking for part-time contract work. I worked with a number of recruiting places where they would do a lot of part-time placements as well. So you may not even have to change the way you look for a job that much in order to find something like that. Alternately, Dan hires people from sites like Upwork. So there are places where if you have skills, you can put them out there and, bid to see if that's something that you want to do.
Yeah, this will also give you a chance to kind of learn how to be a contractor, because sometimes you're tracking your time, you don't have a direct boss, you have to learn kind of within yourself how you're going to do this. So it's a great opportunity to learn that before moving fully to Portugal or anywhere and going full time as a contractor.
So our last tip for finding a way to work remotely so that you can move abroad is to develop the skills that would allow you to work remotely. So if you don't feel like your skills currently match any of the jobs that are out there right now, there are a lot of jobs that are kind of easier to get into that you don't have to have 4-year degrees to do, and you can get on the job training or do a boot camp or basically teach yourself how to do, like Dan taught himself how to do SEO. I basically learned on the job to do project management and then product management. So these are things that you absolutely can do. Some of the common ones that I see are project management, which is what I started in, UX design, or even, travel writing, SEO writing.
Overall, you need to find where there's a need and where you can fulfill that. So like SEO copywriting is a thing that as long as companies are on the internet, they're going to need. And there's a course called Location Rebel that you can take that will help you get started in that. But in general, there's so many things you can do online where you're fulfilling a need. We have a friend that does speech therapy, and then she ended up teaching people from different countries how to get rid of their accent. They were speaking English, and she does that online. So there's all sorts of variety of things you can do online. You just need to find a need that people have and be able to fulfill it. And that's kind of our approach with this channel. Before I was solving the need and continue to solve the need with helping people plan their honeymoons through my website. And now that we have this YouTube channel and it's growing, we're always thinking about how we can help solve the problems and fulfill the needs of you. So for example, we created a D7 visa worksheet and put our personal statements in there because people kept asking us to see our personal statements that we use to get our D7 visa. And now you can even book time with us if you have other questions. So we're always trying to see like what needs we can fulfill, and we're still thinking about those. Like, would it be useful if we hosted like a group trip or something? Or could we put together itineraries for people doing scouting trips? Things like that, that we're always thinking about what needs can we fulfill that will help us make our lifestyle here continue to be sustainable.
So because of that, YouTube has been very helpful for us because we do get a lot of feedback. So if you have things that we've touched on that you think would be interesting or exciting or helpful that we can help with, or even just ideas for us, we're always looking for those, and those are really helpful for us. So please leave a comment if taking a trip to Lisbon would be easier if we helped show you around, or, anything like that. We would love to hear your feedback. And, we put that back as a recommendation as well, is if you get feedback from people, or if you start to notice kind of where you have skills or things you can offer that other people are looking for, you can market those skills and help to build kind of the life that you want. And that's what we're hoping to say here, is that you can absolutely take those steps and do those things. And also that we are really thankful for this community because you guys are helping us to make the life that we want. So with that, we hope you guys will subscribe to our channel and follow along with us on Instagram and shoot us a message. We love hearing from you guys, and we will talk to you later.